Well, hello.
Hello, mister.
¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás, viajero? Nomás te veo que andas de vago. Qué bueno. Oye, tus hijas parecen gigantes.
Sí, tan grandotas. Ana que tiene 11, está 5.
Pues ya me pasó.
Sí.
Porque yo era 5, yo creo que soy menos de 5.
¿Verdad? Como que vamos cayendo, ¿verdad?
Sí,
Yo medía 5'8", no me siento 5'8" ya. So,
Tú estás joven, no has llegado a los 60 años.
No, pero pues lo que pasa es que yo digo, pues tengo que durar otros 30 años, porque pues esta tiene 12.
Pues sí, pero tienes
Y bueno, es
de
que...
acá y de acá.
Sí. No, ahorita ando estudiando, me levanto a las 4 de la mañana, estoy ese desgraciado AI. Pero lo que pasa es de que pues está cambiando todo. Hay mucha gente que se está enfocando en que yo hago un poquitito de todo para que nos vean, that you know that we're relevant, but we still have 200 agents. Lo que viene pasando es de que pues yo miro muchos agentes que están en social media y no I look at their production. No han vendido nada. Es puro pedo, es puro imagen, y luego ahora las viejas están encuerando ahí o si no andan echando madres. Los guys la misma cosa. Hay un guy que se ha hecho como que tiene muchos followers, que entra a la casa y echa madres. That's not my people. Yo me pongo, yo muy apenas he hecho una madre de vez en cuando, ya saben nosotros los mexicanos. Sí, no, te sientes mal. ¿Cómo vas con un cliente?
Yo madre digo picheo.
Sí, algo así.
Cosas así que no son tan peores.
No es de eso, no. Entonces, esta gente joven quieren andar faltándole el respeto a todo el mundo, pues no se dan cuenta que la gente que compra son gente que ya tienen familia, tienen trabajos responsables, no son
Yo si fuera a comprar una casa y viera uno de esos, yo me lo aceptaba.
Y luego es mucho menos una encuerada. Imagínate que...
Enseñando además. Que estás casada y el marido...
Le vas a quitar el marido a la señora. ¿Tú crees que si le va a decir a mamá o ella misma? No. No, I'm not using her. Bueno, me están esperando.
Ok, córrele, por favor. Oh. Yes. Oh, hi. Yes, I recognize your, I cannot recognize your number now. Yes. Uh-huh. Correct, that's the one. So you never got it? Or email? No, I sent email. I mean, he basically wrote the things. So he sent it to me, and then from that, I sent it to you. Unless it went to spam or, okay, or maybe the trash. Mhm. No, because he said, basically, he just made a new email for me, and he just wrote the changes. So I just sent it to your email, so I don't know why you did that. Probably want to try. Yes, because I looked for your email, and then I sent it to you. So, okay. I will. I'm in my office, and I'm about to take a class. If I don't send it to you right away, let me see if I can get it from my phone. Okay? Okay. I'll send you a text if I not get it. So, thank you. All right.
Okay, any help over here?
Well, Christina mentioned that we might have an overflow.
Yes,
Okay.
so I have it streaming the camera
Okay.
here. with TV
So
over
that-
there.
Okay,
That's
cool.
correct.
No, perfect.
I already checked that it's already working and everything.
Awesome. And you always set us up really good. Appreciate it.
Hello.
Hello, hey, how are you?
Good. Ready.
Ready? Oh, cool. Well, we got a lot of food in there.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I
good.
brought some.
I brought some cookies also. So.
Oh, yeah, I brought some too, so
Oh, did you?
we can always some cookies.
There you go.
Oh, man.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
You still busy? So, more changes still.
More changes, you know how it is. Golly.
I hate it. I'm too old for all these changes.
I know. You know, after COVID, when they made those initial changes after the NAR lawsuit, you remember when they changed? You've been a realtor a while,
30-something years.
30-some years. So they made those changes, and then it's like every year, every 6 months that they didn't like what they did, so they changed again. Then they changed again. Then they changed again.
I don't know. I don't know the story. Why?
You know, I really truly there's some issues with these changes, in my opinion, that I think we'll see some more changes, unfortunately, because the water notice, there's some discrepancies on the water notice and with the way they do it. So I think it's going to confuse people. That's just my opinion. You know,
So just be sure you.
I've seen it happen, but you know, and I'm not Brian, but he gave me his slideshow, and he's on the TREC broker lawyer committee. So he's, you know, hey, how are you?
Is that an appointed position? Is that an appointed?
Man, it
position?
is.
Yeah.
We need to get him out. No, it is an appointed position.
Yeah. No swag? No feelings?
Man, she's coming. Kirsten's running a little bit behind, but I went and got the food. There's a lot of food in there.
There is. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
go get it, man. It's full. You got different sandwiches, chips, cookies. There's fruit, cheese.
Delicious song.
But
Right.
Kirsten and Sylvia, they should be pulling up any minute. So,
You look good.
man, yeah,
Did you change your hairstyle?
I got rid of my beard.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Got rid of
Yeah.
my beard. I had a beard. It's too hot. It's too hot, and I was just like, you know what? And honestly, it's all gray, so I look like Santa. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna just cut it. Maybe that's the thing.
That's it.
Got rid of my gray and my hair. I don't shy away. I've tried this.
You're gonna complain about your hair?
No, I tried this just for men coloring shampoo. I've never dyed my hair. First of all, never done that.
Okay.
But there's a just for men shampoo, and it's supposed to gradually kind of just takes it. Well, I tried it for a while, for a couple of years, you know, and you know, it works. It does work a little bit. It don't like. I'm never that guy that's gonna dye my hair. I'm just, hey, I'm gonna age like everybody else. But I tried it, and I was like, man, this is cool, and it kind of leaves it like a more salt and pepper.
Yeah.
Well, I said, I'm done. And
Really?
so, yeah, I said, I'm not doing that no more. So now that I'm not doing it, my hair is getting a little more grayer. But you know what?
That's normal. It's called life.
It's called life. Yeah, it's called life. I mean, I'm 53. I'm like, you know what? I ain't worried about it. So I cut my gray beard, stopped. And of course, that really didn't make much of a difference to me.
Where are you coming from? And you live in San Antonio or?
Yeah,
You
well, no,
mentioned
I
San Antonio,
live in
Houston.
Spring Branch.
Oh, you live in Spring Branch.
Yeah, I live in Spring Branch.
You know, there's a lot of fraud going on
Spring Branch?
there. A lot.
Like what kind of fraud?
On the west side of 281 in, I forgot, Rivermont subdivision.
I'm not familiar.
There's one lane that's prevalent. It's Misty Lane. But it's a small neighborhood, small POA. 3 times
Hi there. Hello.
there's been fraud within the past
Like
month.
fraud, like theft?
Fraud by a person impersonating an owner and trying to sell property.
Oh my gosh.
And he started twice with 2 different. I was one, and he tried with another listing.
Really?
Same identity and everything. And it was like-
Wow.
and then another guy reported it on another house in that subdivision.
Really?
They're just relentless.
Man, I
Are
tell you,
they creative? They're Texas driver's licenses and everything.
there's a lot of that.
They
going
nice
on.
things, you look so.
I know. I was telling people this, and I had this agent literally tell me, "Oh, that you don't need that." And I said, "Man, with AI and what they're doing nowadays, because we First American offers for buyers. When you close, we offer the free title monitor. You can pay for it through Title Lock. It's $300 a year, $299 a year, but we offer it for free. We offer title monitoring for free, so we're giving you Title Lock for free. As long as you own the home, like that you own the home.
Yep.
Well, there's other companies, they'll do it eventually, there's no doubt, the bigger guys will do it. But I was telling this girl, and she closes at Old Republic, and she goes, I called my escrow officer at Old Republic, and she goes, you don't need that, not in Texas. Well, guess what? We started it in April 1st, we started it, is when we officially launched it, but we backdated to anybody that's closed this year. We found 18 cases of fraudulent people trying to steal title in Texas. 18 cases in Texas. Just in our first month, we found. So I was like, holy moly. So if you don't think that because normally LifeLock protects your social security, and all that. And that's obviously, can happen. But in Texas, they're right. We don't normally have, because of the way that we record our deeds. But man, because of AI, and because of the way people are doing it, I'm telling you, it's 18 cases in April. I haven't gotten the May yet, but I know, I'm sure
Surge to a certain.
oh, it's going to
It's not
surge.
increased, but it's going to surge.
So why would you not want free title? And I'm not because I'm at First American, but man, if I bought a house, I want free title monitoring.
When the guy first approached, he contacted me, and it was kind of sketchy. I mean, there's something about it when he first contacted me. And he says, how much do you think my property worth? I want to sell it. And all over text, no phone call, just text.
Yeah.
And he goes, and I gave him some estimates, and he said, yeah, well, I want to sell it as soon as possible. I don't want to go into sign. I want to sign remote.
Right.
And I want to sign as soon as possible. So,
See, that right there.
yeah, right there, when
Yeah.
you said that, here, this and that, I'm like,
Yeah.
there's something fishy
Red
about
flag.
it. There's something fishy about it.
Something.
So we go through the paces, and not long after that, about a couple of weeks or less, Independence Title was offering a seminar on fraud. Yeah, and I attended it. And so Christine Ashley, she's the one that handles my deals. And I said, Christine, there's something about this deal. The hairs in the back of my neck. You need to look at this.
If your head is not on a swivel when it comes to that stuff, wire fraud, all these things, you got to really be diligent about what you're doing. Watch the emails. Click the email, look at it. If it's some weird email,
No, the guy he had a driver's license and he was a
Oh,
name
they're
that matched the property that he was living at. What he was selling was a vacant lot.
Yeah,
And it all
you can get a fake license printed out and then put the, what do you call it when you run it through the machine and it makes it hard.
over.
And then laminate. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you can laminate with some really thick paper and make it look good, like it's your license.
Right.
And it's
So
really
this guy, I never met him in person. He was willing to talk in text. He said a digital copy, like a photograph copy of his driver's license.
Was it land or a house?
It was land, vacant land.
See, that's where they're getting people.
Yeah.
It's not the house as much as the land.
Yeah.
So let me help her. Kirsten, you need some help?
No, I actually got everything in one.
You know what I just thought about? I forgot. I got the tea, but I forgot the bottle of water.
Oh, no, it's okay. Oh,
She looks like one of our agents.
God.
Yeah, I thought it was her. Same face, same facial features. And everything.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Hi, ma'am. How you doing? Are you one of our agents or
Yes.
what's your name?
Tony.
Tony, nice to meet you. Jose. How long have you been with us? 3 years. Oh, cool.
I've seen you.
Have you seen him at the post office? The post office? The one. I'm dating myself. I don't know.
Next
Not much
Did
more
this,
to eat, not much more.
Peas in the pod, peas in the pod.
Okay.
Hello.
How's y'all year been?
Yeah, what
How are you?
These little chairs.
I would want to spend a little bit, I'm sure you will, but I want to, for me, I'd like to get some time on this.
That's
what I
It took me a second. I was like, no,
We're gonna hit that.
you got that.
Did it really?
Good to see you as well.
There's really not a lot of change.
Wait,
There's just-
it's been a long time.
Changes.
We got to send a picture of Nick and have him believe it. Okay.
We've only got 2 new documents. It's just we've had some revisions, right? So we've got a bunch of revisions. And they're minor, like for example, the option fee in paragraph 5, you know, or not paragraph 5, but paragraph.
They talk together?
No, they went from uppercase to lowercase. Not a big deal. Why they do that? But we, you know, we don't need to go over a lot of things like that. They just lowercase the word.
Yeah.
So, and then they added the word seller's disclosure instead of just notice.
Oh.
We used to just say notice. Now
Oh,
it
yeah, yeah.
says it now. But we're gonna, you know, we'll go over that. But
One of
we're
my
gonna hit
friends-
paragraph
I
5
mean,
for
like-
listing agreement. We're gonna hit the
Realtor
paragraph 12.
always
We're gonna hit some water disclosure. That's a new document.
Have you talked to Rudy about, there's people here that are into the.
Hi, long time no see you.
Have you gotten a sense from Rudy whether he wants to utilize that distribution part of the contract, the contract versus the broker?
We can't use broker.
Because
Rudy, yeah, we can't do that. That's gone. That's against the TREC. So Rudy.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's gone. Yeah, there's no more broker to broker. Yeah, it's gone. 2401, 2402 is gone. They even took that section out of the contract, so we don't have a choice. Yeah. So I haven't talked to
You're gonna
Rudy.
cover it, right?
I'm gonna cover it. I haven't talked to Rudy, but Rudy's gonna, you know, we gotta go with the changes. Yeah.
No, that's fine. I didn't know they limited it.
It's gone. It's not even in zip forms anymore.
You know, it was no more than a year, less than a year.
I know.
That they were saying, yeah, we
I know.
prefer the broker to broker instead of this confusing part of the contract.
I'm gonna tell you, they made it very simplified.
Yeah.
Very simplified. So there ain't even, we won't even talk about broker because it is gone.
It's gone.
I'm gonna mention it's
I'm
gone.
not gonna try to reply to this. It's
No,
gone, it's gone.
it's not there no more. It's not even an option. So. Hello, sir. I'm good. All right, yeah. I know we're gonna have, if we overflow, we're gonna have the overflow room. In the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're gonna run back and forth?
No.
I know, and that
Camera.
doesn't work to pull it down.
You don't wanna sit there?
It's too tall.
Too tall? You wanna lower it?
Oh,
You want me to lower it? No. No?
I tried lowering it.
You wanna lower it? You wanna sit there?
Let's,
Let's see. If I don't fall over.
I know I tried lowering it.
So you might sit on here?
Oh, there you go.
How's that?
Yeah, sit on there.
Of course. Use my fat butt on it. That's
It's a
right.
very normal
How you doing?
size.
Long time no see.
Is 1 hour CE or 1 hour?
2 hours,
2 hours CE.
but we're not gonna take 2 hours. But I don't have 1 hour CE classes, so we're just gonna,
So can we get credit for CD?
yeah, I have a sponsor.
Okay.
I have a sponsor. He just called me though, he can't make it. So he said, go ahead and, he came with me last time You know, he came with me last time and met some of y'all. I know you wasn't. He couldn't make it, man. Something came up with his wife, and so he couldn't make it, but he said, it's all covered. I got it. So yeah, we'll have a sign. And then I'll bring him in next time so y'all can meet him. It's an insurance guy.
So we pay you for the fee, or?
No, he covered it.
Oh, you covered.
He covers it. Yep. So he covers it. So he is part of the school, the Montefazzi group. Him and this guy, this lender, he's an insurance guy, but then I got a lender, and they partner together. They're the ones that own the school.
Okay.
I'm just an instructor for them.
Okay.
So he's covered it. He told me it's all covered.
Great. Are you covering all the forms, or just the contract changes?
I'm covering the contract changes. Yeah, we're gonna go with just the contract. And there's really not a lot. That's why it's not gonna take us about an hour and 15 minutes. Maybe an hour and 30 tops. It's just going over some of the things and talking about it. There are some things we need to hit, but the contract changes from back after COVID were way more complicated.
I was trying to get you guys to forms, you know.
Oh, really?
Like,
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna load these
Everything.
So no one has those, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna grab one of these.
I'm 17 minutes away from that.
You know what, I'm actually gonna sit here because if I have to.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
You're gonna sit back there now?
I'm gonna sit over there.
Okay.
Just one of these seats for the ladies.
Oh, okay, there you go. You know, grab me a water, water.
Laura, okay, I'm Christina.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you.
Christina.
I'll lay on the floor.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're good, Jim, Mike?
It's always here. It's always here.
So you're feeling better? Took a little while. It is a little warm, yeah. I got this kid, I can't see all this. Is this fake?
There's one.
Right now.
Oh my God. Tell him I said hi. You're gonna need to speak loud so they can hear you.
That's gonna get my voice though, right?
Yeah.
I thought Barry didn't have a mic.
She's getting some, we got some paperwork.
Because otherwise you might read it up there. Hit these parts.
Is that it? Is that the mic?
It could be.
I'll kind of ask him about that, but I don't have no problem speaking loud.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna have to yell down the hall.
Gina, is this the mic?
It's for the YouTube guys that's going on.
Right. I thought it was a speaker. I didn't know. That's right, that's the mic.
hopefully the pussy boy.
It should.
Waters or the tea?
Huh?
It's water or the tea? It's water or the tea.
Yeah, water, sweet tea, and unsweet tea. Oh, there's a lot of liquor.
They say that the king like back to water.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I live like right there. I don't live on the lake or nothing. I can see way in.
Wow. That's a really. I guess the aquifers do better.
I think so. I think so. Well, hello, how are you?
I mistook her for.
There's a seat up here. If you want, seat here. We're not, you don't really need necessarily, well, you don't need to write anything, but,
I usually do just to.
yeah.
So it sticks in my mind.
Yeah, and also there's a room up front that you can go to and they're videoing it, so you can watch it from up
Are you
front.
needing a chair? You can sit here.
I guess the only thing is, I guess the only difference is if they want to ask questions.
Yeah.
It has to-
They- they know.
it has to come down the hall.
Never know.
Yeah, that's good.
I want to ride in that Jeep.
You want
I want to ride in that Jeep.
Me too.
I give you a ride.
I want to ride in that Jeep.
Is that your available?
It's a $10 trip card.
You pay, you pay me $10?
Yes, I will. Sure, you play with me.
Maybe.
Okay, here we go.
We'll close the door when you start. right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yay.
There's some good information in there.
Favorites.
I know, right?
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm there.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you?
Are you doing the development?
Someone's there.
My-
For me?
Hang on.
What's your name?
Marvin.
Second.
Okay, how you doing?
Nice to meet you. Here's-
Let me go get some.
Okay.
Is that 50?
Yeah, these are. I need to ask a person about those websites.
Just make sure there's a sign-in sheet going around if y'all can sign up for CD credit. Just make sure everybody signs in. This one?
What is it?
Is it this one?
No, me.
Does somebody have it?
Sit there.
There it is, yes. Christina,
We got some more coming.
it's free CD.
I did want to,
Free CD credit.
we're making some more, but I want to know, this is a really cool sheet I made for y'all. It's got all the websites for the water, websites through Texas, when it comes to mud, conservation districts, and all that. We're gonna kind of go over it, but it's in the back, she said, so I like to make note of that, because it's a really important form for y'all to have that.
Thank you.
Okay, I got some more coming. So we need 1, 2, 3. I don't think we have that yet.
Let me check it out. Let's see. What did you do? You're developing.
I'm gonna push through
There is no cost for the seed credit. It's part of First American, and just as long as you're putting your name and you're a realtor or broker, that's your part.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Christina,
Take care.
where's the sign-in?
If it's right here, so it's gonna go around.
Haven't seen you in forever.
Okay, we've got a couple more coming, but she's making them. But we're gonna kind of just, really, it's just for y'all to take notes in it if you want. But we can go ahead, we're gonna kind of go ahead and get started. And then they're bringing those in, she's making copies for y'all right now. Okay, we got the sign-in sheet coming around. So you can sign in if you want the CE. If you are a broker,
There's some floor space over here.
if you are a broker, you have your license. You don't, I mean, I know you're associate here, but if you are a broker, please make sure you let me know in there because the new TREC thing is we have to put dash SA behind our license. Well, if I don't put dash B behind your license, then it won't give you credit. So just make, because there's some that I go to class and they don't put nothing. And then I have to put dash SA, and then I don't even realize it didn't give me credit. So if you do have your broker's license, please put B behind it. No? All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started while she's still making those copies because the first part of the presentation, you don't need it anyway, okay? Are you all ready? All right, here we go. All right, so as like I said, she's finished making the copies, but you don't need those for the first part anyway. All right, my name is Ronnie Dees. I am not Brian Watts. All right, my name is Ronnie Dees, and I'm with First American. Brian works, he is our head attorney for Texas for First American. But he also is on the broker lawyer committee for TREC. And so he made these changes. He was part of a group of 12 that makes the changes when we have those. So I feel pretty confident that I got the right information from the right guy. So he gave me his slideshow that he's been teaching this. So I'm teaching exactly what came from the broker lawyer committee. You gonna move?
Yeah, I've got I'm mentoring a girl. And I'm just gonna
Okay.
sit with her.
Okay, no problem.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
If somebody wants to sit down here.
Yeah, a little bit better when you got a table there. Okay. Yeah, if you shut that mic, it's pretty good. All right, so here we go. All right.
Anybody else missing?
Yeah, I think, did you need one?
Right
I
here.
have 2 more right now.
He needs one, we got one here. Did you need
Okay,
one?
sorry. I'm gonna be coming in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go over it
It's
all.
that sheet that we're talking about with all
It
the.
should,
It's in the booklet.
It was,
right there.
that's it?
Okay, all right, here we go. So a little disclaimer, you know, an attorney wrote this up, so I'm just a messenger here. But, oh, by the way, hang on one second. How many have I not met in here that don't, have never met me?
First time.
Okay, awesome. Well, man, let me just tell you, you know, you ever wonder who's teaching you this class? You know, I am a realtor also. I've been a realtor for about 23-ish years, maybe 24. I was a home inspector before I became a realtor, and I realized really quickly I didn't want to do that. But I love to have fun. I've been teaching a lot for you know, real estate, teaching champions and different things in Houston. I'm from Houston. I retired from the fire department 30 years. And I retired, and I always want to move up towards hill country, and so here I am. This is my new home. I just moved here. I've been officially moved here for 1 year. But you know, in Houston, I opened up a brokerage with another guy in 2014, and we grew, and I think he's still doing it, and I kind of just decided to retire from that. But we had right at 2,000 agents. We were top 6 in the state of Texas, 27 offices. So I've been teaching this, and I've been doing it for a long time. I'm really not that smart. I just learned what not to do from agents. When you got that many, no, I'm joking. When you got that many agents, you learn what not to do. But so with that said, I feel I've got all this information from Brian. And here's my disclaimer though. This is the thing. I love Rudy, and he always is so generous to let me come in and teach. But anything that Rudy wants, if I say anything that's kind of, there are some little gray areas here and there, but always get with your broker. Always get with your broker, okay? Because you've got one of the smartest brokers in this city, and so make sure you get with Rudy. Okay? All right. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go through this slideshow, but I'm gonna go back and forth on my computer because I like to teach and make it the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid, right? Because I know when I was 26 years old and I got my license, and I was scared to kind of raise my hand and things like that. So I promise you, when you walk away, it's going to be clear. But please ask questions, or I don't know that you don't understand. Y'all are a big family here, right?
Yes, sir.
Families ain't embarrassed, just ask. Okay. So here's the thing. We're going to go over revisions. We're going to go over some changes. All this went into effect July 1st. So it's already into effect. It should be in your zip forms, your templates, whatever you're using for your documents. So we have a lot of revisions, right? Most of all of them are exactly the same. Actually, we're only going to go through the 1 and 4 because all of these are going to be exactly the same as the 1 to 4, but they're all of them have revisions. So we have an addendum. We have a couple of changes. You know, this one already made a change. All they did was just add a couple of things, you know, in seller's disclosure for the seller to check if they have like a water notice that it's on there. But we're going to go over the main stuff that you are going to do every day. These are the only 2 new forms that we have. 2 new forms, and we're going to go over those today. So that's just when it started. But let me say this: can I? A lot of things eliminate when you're doing, you know, to make mistakes. A lot of things will eliminate your mistakes if you take your time and read. Take your time. You know, a lot of times, look, I get it. You know, you get a buyer that's like, hey, I want to make an offer, especially if it's multiple offer and your time is of the essence and you're trying to get it done. But you've got to take your time. This is the biggest investment that people make. And most of the time when agents make mistakes, they go through it so fast and they just, oh my God, you know, anybody can make a mistake, even the veterans to the rookie agents. I don't care how long you've been. We all can make mistakes. For human, right? So, but I just encourage you, because when I go over paragraph 12 today, where you get paid, there's 2 boxes to check. And if you accidentally check one of the boxes because you're tired, you're going fast, maybe you're drinking some wine at night, sitting at home, I don't know. But if you click that wrong box, you ain't getting paid. And so I don't like that they're so close together, but just, I'm going to show you today, but I want you to take your time and read. Okay, I'm going to go, again, we're going to hit the main stuff really good, and we'll take some time on it, but we're going to go through some of this other stuff fast. I don't need to really tell you that the option, earnest, and contract are now lowercase. Why they did that, I don't know. But they lowercase some words in the contract. So you'll see that. If you go to the TREC website, there's a blue and red. Y'all seen those where the changes, where they cross them out? It's on page 1. If you go to TREC, the front page of TREC, and you scroll down, it's going to show you all the contracts, and it's going to show you the red line, blue line, and what's been taken out, what's been added. So if you go to it, like for example, you've got this contract right here, and you have all these blue and red. So all the red is what they took away, and all the blue is what they added. So we're not going to go over every single, because I don't need to dissect to y'all, because you've been around this business a little bit. I don't want to dissect to y'all that we went from lowercase, uppercase to lowercase. See what I'm saying? So just take your time to look through that. Now, I want to point out, listing broker is now seller's broker. Other broker is now buyer's broker. They're honestly, when you really look through today, they're making it simplified. They're trying to simplify it, okay? All right. And we're going to go through these documents. Trust me. Don't think that this is going to be fast, but I kind of want to hit up some things. All right. So they really want to be specific, and they added this code, the Texas government code, of what is a legal holiday. When in your contract does legal holiday come into play? Earnest money. Whoever said that, that's perfect. So the earnest money is the only thing that comes into play with a legal holiday. But they want to make sure that you know what is a legal holiday and what is not a legal holiday, right? And the reason why is because, and I'm going to give you an example. When I came here from Houston, I learned about Fiesta. I had no idea about Fiesta, but I learned about Fiesta, and title companies will close on Fiesta to celebrate. Well, let's just say you execute a contract on Thursday, and you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You have 3 days. Everybody knows that, right? But the third day falls on a Saturday, Sunday, or legal holiday. Then you go to the next day on Monday. Well, what if the title company decided to close on Monday because of Fiesta? Do you get till Tuesday? No. No. So they're being very clear of what the holidays are and what are not holidays. So just make sure that you know this. This is the main thing to know. You have 3 days to take the earnest money. If the third day falls on a Saturday, Sunday, or legal holiday, you get another day. But if that other day is one of these holidays, for example, or Fiesta that they're closed, you don't get an extra day. So I encourage you. Oh, do you need the mic? Am I going to be too loud if I'm talking in this? Okay. Sometimes I get a little excited. So if you're closing, make sure that you know. Just be aware. Just be aware of your holidays, and you have 3 days and things like that. But here's what I was going to tell you. So here's the deal. Look, I'm with First American Title. I'm the president of First American Title in San Antonio, and I am here to help us grow. You know, but I'm also been in your shoes for 25 years, 24 years. And so I know what you're going through, and I love to teach, and that's why I'm here, but I also want your business. So here's the thing. If you fall on a weekend where you're like, oh man, it's the third day, because the worst day to execute a contract, you know, is on a Thursday. It's the worst day to execute, because if you execute on Thursday at 9 o'clock at night because you're working from home, you only have 1 day. 1 day. You got Friday. Well, no, you have 2 days. If you execute on a Friday, sorry, not Thursday, Friday, you've got Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So if you execute on a Friday night because you've been working late at night and you execute on a Friday night, you have Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So you only have 1 business day to take that earnest money to the title company. So here's what I'm telling you. Utilize us. Call Kirsten. We have Sylvia. Like, we'll meet with you on a weekend, and I can execute your contracts. I mean, not execute, I'm sorry, receipt your contracts. So we will do that for you. Now, granted, we got to have the money. I can't receipt it without the money. But we have all these ways to pay, whether it's wire, or personal check, Zocom. We have all these ways to pay. But as long as you've done that, you can call us on a Saturday or Sunday or whatever, and we'll receipt it for you, and you're good. You're good to go, because we represent the title company. Okay? So don't get stuck, because that is, I teach a class 30+ outs for a buyer. Y'all know there's only 1 out for a seller. It's the earnest money. That's it. So you got to get that earnest money. It's very important. Okay. And see, just because the title company's closed doesn't make it a legal holiday. Now, we're gonna dig into this seller's this water disclosure. So he's got it on his slideshow, but I want to go to the actual thing. So let's do this. All right. So, but we're gonna pause. We're gonna pause that, and I'm gonna say that we're representing a buyer. So we're gonna take it just like you're doing a deal. I'm sorry, a seller. We're going to represent a seller first. Okay, so I'm going to go through this. This is representing a seller. So we're going to pause on our deal. We're going to go right to a seller. I'm going to make it really simple for y'all. If you represent a seller, what do you got to do? A listing agreement, right? Okay. So let's talk about the changes on the listing agreement and how it affects y'all. Okay. We added generators. Y'all can see we added generators. It's one of the things that have to stay unless you exclude it. I'm not trying to get y'all dizzy, but I'm scrolling down. Getting dizzy. All right, so now we got 5A. So when you represent a seller, what do you got to do? You got to let the seller know how much you're charging them, right? Well, we no longer have 2402 and 2401, which 2402 is agreement between brokers, and 2401 is agreement between broker and owner. They're gone. No more. There's no more. So when you represent a seller,
You're talking about those are the compensation agreements?
Compensation agreements. So if you're representing a seller, we're talking about sellers, so think about that in your mind. Mr. Seller, I'm going to charge you a certain amount to list your home. Look at this paragraph though. Everything is crossed out. It's gone. So I'm only showing you the red line edition on your zip forms right now. This ain't there. but this is the new 5A. Okay? So here's the thing though, Mr. Seller, and I'm just giving you some recommendations here that definitely, talk to Rudy or do it yourself. Mr. Seller, this is what I'm charging you. PRG is charging you because the brokerage owns all the files. So Mr. Seller, this is what PRG is charging you. But the buyer, so you need to set that expectation because you don't want a seller to think this is all they pay, right? Because they're going to get a contract and that other realtor is going to ask for commission. We know that, right? So set that expectation up. Am I too loud or are we all good?
No, I was just gonna see if I can pull the TV. And then, sorry, just for the other.
Pull the bottom.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'll let you do it. I don't want to fall.
I was thinking the same.
I'm trying to.
Which way you want to pull it? Like,
Well, when you're done, I'll wait over here, that way I can take it to the other room.
oh man, I don't think it's going to do that.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Do you all mind if I just turn off these little lights in here?
No,
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So, got the lights. Hey, I like it, man. Move on. Y'all probably see
Yeah,
better.
I'm gonna go take it over to the other room.
Okay, so like I said, let's get back to a seller. Mr. Seller, I'm gonna charge you this. So we got 5A1. You notice there's nothing on here that even says you're gonna pay another broker. No more, that's gone. The seller pays what they're charging, you're charging the seller here. The buyer is gonna get what's on the 1 to 4 contract or whatever, or the unimproved or farm and ranch or whatever it is you're doing, right? So this is it. So if you're representing a seller, and matter of fact, you don't even really have to call the agent anymore and say, hey, what is your seller paying? Because when you make an offer, you need to put, if you're representing a buyer, you need to put 3%. And you need to try to get 3%. If they're going to try to pay you less, that's negotiable. Everything is negotiable. So in my opinion, I'm not going to call the realtor and go, hey, how much commission you pay? When they don't even know what you're going to offer, right? So, hey, Kirsten, he needs to stop. Okay. So 5A, I'm just using this. We can't say the standard fee. We can't say those words, but I'm just going to say what's common. We're going to say put 3% here, okay, for our purposes. I know it's negotiable, but Mr. Seller, I'm going to charge you 3%, or obviously if there's a flat fee, you're going to put it here. This line here is if you're representing, if it's an unrepresented buyer. So I highly recommend that you put something in there. Maybe you want to charge them, maybe you don't. But let's just say somebody calls you off of the site, right? And they come in and they don't have a realtor. And you're not going to represent them, they're unrepresented. Now, intermediary is a little bit different, but I'm saying an unrepresented buyer. You might want to put something in there that you're going to get your 3 plus that because you're doing all the paperwork, all the file. Yes, ma'am.
So is that line omitted?
No,
I just printed it out and it's not there.
No, this line is here. They just made it 1 and 2, but this line is here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it should be there. Yeah, all 3 of these are here.
Okay,
If it was omitted, it would have a line through it like that.
okay.
Okay? So if you put 3% here, I'm using examples, 3% here, and maybe let's just say you did 1 here or 2 here or 1.5. You don't even have to charge them. That's up to you. That's up to you. But if you're going to do both sides, even though the other one, you're not intermediary, but you're just unrepresented buyer, and you do have to have a document for that, right? We have a document for if you're only representing the seller, you got to disclose that to the buyer. Everything good?
So good standard will be to always do something, because we don't have.
You know what? It's negotiable, but if it was me and I was going to charge my seller, because here's the thing. Y'all know the rule is, even on the buyer's rep and this, you can't charge either client $1 more than you've got on paper, right? So why not go ahead and put another 1 just in case there's an unrepresented buyer, right? And that's what I would do. Maybe 1, 1.5. I'm just using numbers. You can do another 3 if you want. If you feel like you want 6, but that's going to be up to you because it's negotiable. Okay. This line is going to be for miscellaneous stuff. Let's just say that you're charging for photos. Not everybody does this. I'm just saying, I'm going to charge my people for my TC. I'm going to charge a transaction fee. There's some companies that charge additional fee over the percent, the commission. You'd want to put that here because every dollar you charge them has to be disclosed. Does anybody have any questions about this listing agreement, the new 5A.
So could you put the 60% of the A?
Listen,
Yeah,
if you put
different.
6 here,
Yeah.
then you're charging your seller 6 and the buyer's gonna charge them what they charge, and they ain't gonna like that. I'm not saying you charge them 10 if you can get away with it. But what I'm saying is, we're not paying the brokers on the other side no more on this paper. No more, it's gone. So you're only charging them what you're getting paid. Is that clear? Only you, not what you're paying the other brokers.
So then, so when you do like the net sheet for the seller, where do you put, where the broker might get? I mean, the other broker get, the buyer's broker.
Well, if it's on the contract on the 1 to 4 and you're paying, then you're gonna add that to the net sheet and you're gonna show them, but it should be 2 separate ones, what you're paying the listing broker and the buyer broker.
But I was trying to give them numbers before we get the contract.
Well, then you can,
So where will we?
it's on the net sheet. You're just gonna break it down into 2 different fees, just like they do on the HUDs. When y'all get the CDs right now, they're 2 different fees.
Well, I did one this morning,
Yeah.
a listing, a potential listing that I have, and the MLS is not, I just did it this morning, let me see. It doesn't
Well,
break
the
it down, it just has one brokerage fee, so I put 6%.
Well,
Yeah.
again, title companies' net sheets are gonna be official. You know, so if you have a net, I highly recommend, like, if you got with Kirsten and she gave you the First American app, and all these title companies have apps, right? But if you have net sheets on there, they're gonna break them down into 2. I don't know what MLS, I'm an HAR guy, because that's all I've been doing for 20-something years. I'm not familiar with Sabor as much, even though I'm a member now of Sabor. But I don't use their net sheets. I never have used HAR's net sheets. I've always called it title company. So that's just my opinion on that. Okay. I want to make sure, remember I told y'all, clear as mud. We're going to be clear as mud today. Do you have any questions about this?
So if you put miscellaneous, let's see pictures, I have had clients that pay for the pictures,
Okay,
just because they say like, well, I wanna put it for sale, but I'm not sure, maybe I change my mind. So they say, let me pay for the pictures.
Up
So
front,
you
maybe
don't
at the beginning?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah, they say it at the beginning, so if I were to put it there, but the house doesn't sell, then I don't own the pictures. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, you know, if your seller, and I'm just trying to think out loud, if your seller is paying the photos before you can put it on the market,
No, if they wanna, at the end,
oh, at the end, then you need to put it here.
but if the house doesn't close, well, okay, too bad for me.
Well, then you can put, I'm gonna charge this if the house closes. If the house doesn't close, you gotta disclose all that. Yeah, you better be very clear in your
Better
wording.
for them to pay upfront.
Yeah. So I would write it out. Hey, it's this amount if the house closes, it's 0 if the house don't close. Like, you need to be very clear on what you're charging. That's the thing. If you go to court, you gotta look at everything if you go to court. We don't wanna go to court. But what if, listen, I had 2008, almost 2,000 agents. I've been to court because agents just make some mistakes, right? And it's just crazy of if they just would have thought about it a little bit, but they didn't. So that's why I said at the very beginning, take your time, slow down and read. This is a very important contract. This is the biggest investment that people make in their lifetime. You cannot play around with just going real quick and hurry it up and doing it. Take your time, okay? All right, any questions before I move on?
Did you repeat all that?
Is anybody? He always is funny with me. He's always funny with me. Okay, I'm gonna make sure, that's the listing agreement. I'm not trying to get you busy, just hang on. I don't think there wasn't, I mean, we're talking, you see these little letters right here?
Yeah.
That's all they did the rest of the way on the listing agreement. So there's nothing else on here. So let's go to now, let's represent. Well, you know what? I'm gonna do this. Let's go ahead and go to the contract. All right, here we go. Now I'm telling you, that slideshow, I've already went through that slideshow. It's going through the same stuff that we're talking about. I would rather just show you the contract because that's what y'all used to, instead of just him writing everything out, right? All right, so here we go. Here we go. We added, there is generators again. It was added. Y'all see that? Okay. As you can see, they lowercase all words. Pretty simple. Why they did it, I don't really know. They added legal holiday. They want to make sure you know. Here's the government codes for the legal holiday. So if you're very clear on what a legal holiday is, So if you ever have an agent that goes, oh, we on our third day, it fell on this particular day. Well, if it ain't a legal holiday, they don't get it. So that way you know. All right. Let's keep rolling. Nothing yet. Okay, on Tidewaters, on public improvement, and on propane, they took out the same sentence. No big deal, it's not gonna affect you. An addendum containing the required notice shall be attached to this contract. They just took that words out. But you're still gonna attach addendums if you have them, but not, they just took that out because they added it in the back of the contract, so I'll show you. Okay, now I want you to take note of something here for a second, because this is important. Y'all know the seller's disclosure section. I want you to take note of 1 and 2. This section right here, and by the way, they added the word seller's disclosure instead of just saying notice.
Hey, Ronnie, I'm so sorry to interrupt. For the overflow, they're really struggling to see the monitor, so I know this is a little different. Can you announce the page you're on so that they can try to keep up?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We tried everything to adjust for the screen, but in there, it's just really just works.
Okay, I'll tell. So we're on paragraph 7 of the 1 to 4 contract. Page 4. There you go. I was just about to scroll down to look. So paragraph 7 of the 1 to 4 contract. I want y'all to take note that the buyer and this section of the seller's disclosure mirror images this document that we're going to go over in a minute, and mirror image, not this document, but the talk about this document on the contract, paragraph 7I, and I'm about to show you. So just watch this. Nothing there, nothing there. All right, here we go. This is the new talk section about the seller's disclosure about groundwater and surface rights. Okay, look at 1 and 2. Does it look familiar? Mirror image of the seller's disclosure. Mirror image. So now I'm going to tell y'all, and I've talked to Brian Watts, who's the attorney, broker lawyer for me. He said, Ronnie, the agents do not help the seller fill out a seller's disclosure, correct? Y'all don't do that. That's a statutory disclosure notice. This is a statutory disclosure notice. Same thing. So are you going to help the seller fill this out? You should. Just like the seller's disclosure. Now, remember what I told you at the beginning, get with your broker. So if Rudy says y'all can help, then that's up to y'all. But I don't recommend it because it's a statutory disclosure notice, just like the seller's disclosure. Okay? So, oh, by the way, we're on page 5, paragraph 7I for those in the other room. Okay. Now, this is important. So remember, we were representing a seller a while ago. Now, am I good? Now I'm representing a buyer for a minute, and you're filling this contract out. So let's do this together, because I want y'all to make it very clear. If you're filling out a contract, a good listing agent's going to put the seller's disclosure, the T47, the survey if they have one. They're going to put all their documents on the MLS, and you're going to have it. You're going to know, right? And they might even have an offer sheet to tell you instructions, which I hope nowadays that what you're going to do is let the buyer know what box they need to check on 7I. 7I. Because when you're filling this out and they have no disclosures on the MLS, when you get to this section of the 1 to 4, what box are you going to check? You tell me. What box are you going to check? 1. Buyer has received the water notice. Okay. Number 2, buyer has not received it. So you're exactly right. Always check box 2 if you don't have docs and instructions on what to do. Okay? Because here's the deal. Here's the deal. I can tell you this right now. This seller's disclosure about groundwater rights is getting real popular. I think, my opinion, I think in the next 3 to 5 years, water rights is going to be like mineral rights, right? And you see how they're going towards this, right? Because it talks about being leased, sold, severed, all these things. But what I'm saying is you don't realize, I mean, well, hang on, I'm going to hold this thought. It's going to make it clear. I want to read this to each other. I want to read this. Seller's disclosure about groundwater and surface water rights. By the way, if you haven't read the contract backwards and forwards multiple times, and this is your career, do it. Do it. Please read it. I know it's boring sometimes, but you need to know that there's stuff in this contract that you don't even fill out a blank, and it pertains to can help your client. So make sure you read the contract. But let's read it together. Seller's disclosure about groundwater and surface rights. Seller's water disclosure, access to surface water or groundwater on the property may be regulated, restricted, or prohibited, including but not limited to the right to drill, operate water wells, and the right to withdraw water from surface water sources on or adjoining the property. The parties shall use the seller's water disclosure published by TREC to identify the related to groundwater and surface water rights. Check one box only. Okay, so here's there. So we have this that mirror images the seller's disclosure. Now I want to read this together because this is the most important part. Seller is not required to deliver this form. Seller is not required to deliver this form to the buyer because what does it say right here? All of the following are true. It's just that simple. It's that simple. Let me tell you something. And this is where I want y'all to get with Rudy. There are some brokers out there that I've done the class for, and they're requiring this form filled out on every one of their listings. That's totally up to Rudy. That's totally up to Rudy. There are some brokers that says we're just going to fill it out on every property. Now, don't beat the messenger here. But when I told Brian Watts that, who's on the broker lawyer committee, 46 years as a real estate attorney, he said that's stupid. So if Rudy wants it, I'm not saying it. I'm just sorry, Rudy. But because all of the following are true, you don't need it. So why complicate things? That's what the contract states. Okay. But whatever Rudy wants y'all to do. Okay. Let's read it. Seller is not aware of water well on the property in use or not in use. Now I'm going to tell you something. Listen, most houses, you go to your normal neighborhood. That's what is y'all Sauls? Your water? Yeah, San Antonio water. Most neighborhoods that are on Sauls, just in a neighborhood, they're not paying taxes on water. There's no mud. There's no water. They're not going to need this form because all of these are going to be true. But there are some properties that might have a well on it for irrigation, or maybe it's old back in the day and the house is really old inside the loop or some kind of old property, and they're using it for irrigation, or it's capped. It's not used, but it's there. Well, then that wouldn't be true. You see what I mean? So do your due diligence to ask the questions. I gave y'all a list of all these websites on that paper. All you got to do is go. It's going to tell you. How do you find out? Where do you go to find out if a property is paying? No, that's not it. There's another one. It's that one right there. Yes, ma'am. All those websites I gave y'all, it's going to tell you everything to know about that property. You've got the TCEQ. Y'all remember TCEQ, right? And then there's also one that talks about conservation districts and all these things. So you've got all those sources right there to be able to tell. But I need y'all to make sure that you go through this. If you're a listing agent, you need to have this right here on your offer sheet to say, hey, on 7I, check box 3 because all are true. If you're a listing agent, let the agent know. Because when you're filling out the contract and you don't know, you're going to check what box? 2. And then the other realtor is going to have to say, hey, I'm sorry, I got your offer. We got a few little changes. Can you check on 7I? Can you go to box 3? Because all those are true. We don't have 4. But let them tell you. Because you don't know that little house in the neighborhood might have a capped well. You see what I mean? All right, so let's read the rest. We talked about the water well, in use or not in use. Seller is not aware of a pond, lake, or water tank on the property. All right, I had a guy in class last week, and he goes, well, I'm selling 3 acres, and it normally has a pond on it, but it is dry. This was not last week, it was before the flood. Well, I called him the other day. I said, hey, does your dry little pond have water in it? Oh, yeah, it's full. And he said he didn't need it because it was dry. That's not true. So let me just tell you, if you're doing a little bit of property outside of here, maybe some farm and ranch or whatever it is, and you have a pond, lake, or water tank on the property, I don't care if it's dry. That's not true. Okay, so some of it's, and here's the thing about sellers. They don't always know what they're paying taxes on. They have no idea that they even paying a tax on their water, like it's in a utility district. They're maybe their first time home buyers, and they have no idea because they're making their payment and all their escrows is just added in. Because I went and talked to one time. I said, hey, you realize you're paying taxes? You're in mud. And he goes, mud? What's that? I go, you're paying taxes on your water. He goes, man, I pay a water bill. I go, no, you're paying taxes on it too. It's on the CAD. He goes, man, look, all I know is I get a bill, I turn on the water comes out of sync. I mean, they don't know. So we can't blame a lot of sellers for doing, they just don't know. But it's our job, look on the CAD, if they're paying taxes. If they're paying taxes, it's disclosed. So, but just do your due diligence to ask those questions, okay? Seller is not aware of any certificate of injunction, certified filing, or permit for surface water rights associated with the property administered by TCEQ. So again, you go to TCEQ and you got the website and you can put in the address and it tell you everything about the water for that house. So if you don't know, there's your answer right there, TCEQ. Seller is not aware that any groundwater rights to the property have been severed, sold, or leased. Now, you kind of should know that, but they don't always know. So ask them. And here's the thing Brian told me. I said, well, Brian, some of these people ain't going to know. And he goes, well, man, just like the seller's disclosure, it's what they have knowledge of. What they have knowledge of. So, but sometimes they lie. Sometimes they lie. But I'm talking about on seller's disclosure. Sometimes they don't disclose something they really know. But again, sellers not aware of these groundwater rights. The property receives water. This is what most people are going to have in a neighborhood. The property receives water only from the city, a utility district like a MUD, for example, or an other special district water supply corporation, WSC, or private water supply, PWC. So that's, if you have that, if this E is correct, more than likely these are going to be true also. But do your due diligence in it. So again, let's recap. If you're writing an offer and you don't have no documents on the MLS, you're going to check box 2. That's what I recommend. Get with Rudy, but I know he's going to agree with that. Because you can't check box 3 and just assume, right? So check box 2 that, hey, I don't have anything. I don't know anything. They didn't give me no notes, no questions. Or you can call the agent, make a phone call and say, hey, I'm filling out this offer on 7I. Are we going to be number 3, or are y'all going to provide us the water disclosure notice? And if they say, oh, no, we don't, so you're saying number 3, like I'm in detail. I'm a kind of nerd of this stuff. I go, so you're talking about 7I number 3, all are true? And if they say yes, hey, all right, then I'm gonna send you an email. I want you to respond back. I mean, like, I'm that way, because you know what E in email stands for, right? Electronic mail? No, not in our business. It stands for evidence. Evidence. Have the evidence, okay? All right, we're gonna go over the paper in a minute. Do y'all have any questions about the 1 to 4 family section 7I?
What was the website you said to go plug in the address to see?
TCEQ, it's on that sheet that I gave you. It's there.
She doesn't have.
Oh, you don't need this. I'll get you those. I'll get you. Yeah. So TCEQ is.
Did you find it?
No, it's not on here. You're right. But TCEQ.state.texas.us.
Would it have been easier if they just said seller is required instead of putting not?
You talking about this one?
Yeah. It would have been easier to read it if they said seller is required, blah, 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 blah. If this has this, this has that.
Well, because what they're saying is seller is not required to give this notice if all of these are true. but all have to be true, not one, all. So, and again, when I mentioned it to Brian, because I'm gonna tell y'all something in a minute that's, I'm that guy that can find, you remember when we had all the contract changes and after COVID? And about every year we had more changes to the changes? You remember? Because the attorneys kept going, well, crap, we had a lawsuit, we gotta change that. Oh, we had another lawsuit, we gotta change that. I mean, that's what happens. Well, there is a small discrepancy, but Brian Watts, who's the attorney that drew it up, don't think there is because he says it's very clear. If all these are true, don't fill out the form. That's coming from him. But again, they're recording me. Check with Rudy. Okay, any questions about this? Any questions? Pretty simple, really it is. Just do your due diligence and find out. I apologize, the TCEQ is not on there, but it's TCEQ. If you just type in Google, Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, it's gonna pop up. Okay? All right. Cool.
So if you assign agent, I just check number 2, I still check number 2.
What's that?
If I to send a buyer agent, so I just check number 2. Buyer has not received.
If you don't have no information, it's not on MLS, nothing, then you're gonna check 2. Just like if you don't have a seller's disclosure online, what are you gonna check? 2. Same thing. Same thing. It's a mirror image.
So I put 7 days and put how many days?
Oh, how many days? Well, how many days do you do on a seller's disclosure?
Usually 3, right?
3, 5, 7, 15. Yeah.
7, I put 7, and 5.
I put 3. That's it.
So, you know,
Usually, how many
it
days?
is negotiable. It is negotiable, but I like to give them enough time. I like 3 to 5. I mean, it's up to you. Usually 3 to 5. Sometimes I don't like to give them a long time.
They should have it ready.
I think the most common answer would be 5.
Yeah.
Okay, for those in the back, I'm just scrolling down to page 6. Page 6, all they did here is just took out broker and sales agent and put broker and sales agent disclosure, as you can see. Just redid the wording, that's all they did, okay? And then they took out number B down there that says all obligations of the parties for payment and broker fees are contained in a separate written agreement. Why did they take that sentence out? Because we don't have them no more, 2401, 2402, they're gone. Okay, all right, let's keep rolling. Number 12, this is how y'all get paid. This is important. This is what me and you were talking about. Okay, now who's been in real estate more than like 7 or 8 years? Okay, y'all remember back in the day when this paragraph was only 12A and seller contributions, right? Guess what? They brought it back. Now 12A is only seller contributions. We have a 12B, we're gonna go over it in a minute, but 12A is only for seller contributions to pay for things. If you ask, if the lender goes, hey, ask for $6,000 for closing cost assistance, and you put $6,000 in this line right here, okay? But you only use 5,000 of it, where does that other 1,000, can you use that other 1,000 towards towards compensation? No. It goes back to the seller. Okay, let's read this line that they added. So you see an amount not to exceed blank applied to the buyer's expenses other than broker compensation or contributions under paragraph 12B. So it can be used for anything other than broker compensation. So I just want to be really clear. This has nothing to do with you getting paid. Paragraph 12A, 12A, no more. Because remember we had 12A 1B, or we had, and just 2 months ago, we had a line for seller contribution, and right below it was commission. It's gone. So 12A is only seller contribution. Okay, now let's go down to 12B. Okay, so it's not really hard, but I'm just trying to make sure that you really understand. I want you to be the smartest agents out there. Really. Okay, so let's read this real quick. This is in blue. This has all been added. Broker compensation. I scrolled down to paragraph 12. Broker compensation is not set by law and is fully negotiable. We know that, right? Each party shall pay their prospective brokers to the terms of the party's obligation to compensate their brokers contained in separate written agreements. What is the separate written agreements for us now moving forward? I want you to tell me. There's only two. The listing agreement and the buyer's representation agreement. That's it. So you're getting paid, your seller's broker is getting paid based on the listing agreement. The buyer's broker is getting paid based on the buyer's rep agreement. But the buyer's rep might be a little different than the 1-to-4 because it's negotiable. Legally, you can go after the buyer for anything short on the 1-to-4. Saying you are, not saying you should. I'm just saying that if you put 3% on the buyer's rep and there's 2% on the 1-to-4, you could ask the buyer to pay that other 1%. That's up to you. I mean, might not have the buyer anymore after that, but it's up to you. Okay, so.
But in that case, you would not put that anywhere in there, right?
That's what I'm confused.
No,
Because it's saying that it's only,
The additional, you asked the buyer.
Well, but here's the deal. In the buyer's rep, when you tell the buyer you're going to charge them 3%, it also states in the buyer's rep that you're going to ask for that same money from the seller. You're going to ask the seller whatever the seller is not willing to pay. So you're supposed to ask them for that amount, and you can't ask them for $1 more than what you do. So you're still doing the same on the buyer's rep. You're putting 3%, let's just say. But then you're going to ask for 3% on the 1-to-4, right? All I'm saying is, and which is going to be right here, and I'm going to show you on box 1. So you're still going to ask for your 3% right here. But all I'm saying is, if you didn't know this, whatever you get short of the buyer's rep here, you could ask for the buyer to pay the difference. That's up to you. Does anybody do that? Okay. So it's not really, nothing's changed in the fact that you have a buyer's rep and you have to put whatever amount that you're going to ask for. And then you ask for that here on the 1-to-4 and hoping that you get that amount. And then if you get less than that on here, then you could ask the buyer to compensate you the difference. Or you could just accept whatever it is you got on here.
If you ask the buyer to compensate the difference, did you put that anywhere in here?
No, not on the contract.
On the one that you said.
You're exactly right, but we don't do that no more. So the difference would just have to let the title company know, based on your separate written agreement, which is the buyer's rep, that you, hey, Mr. Title Company, I have a 3% agreement with my buyer. I'm only getting 2 on the contract, so I need to charge my buyer an additional 1%. You see what I mean?
That doesn't go anywhere.
Not on the contract. No, sir. Okay.
Was that box 2?
Isn't that box 2?
I'm about to explain. It's not. It's not. So I'm going to explain to you. So let's keep reading. The contributions, I'm reading up here in the bold. The contributions under 12A1 and 12A2 below shall be applied to and shall not change the party's obligations to pay. So this doesn't change necessarily. So if what they're saying there is, like I was just telling you, if you have a buyer's rep that says 3 and this says 2, it don't change the buyer's rep. Buyer's still got to pay you if you go after them for that. That's your decision. They might not ever hire you.
So on the buyer's rep, it specifically says that what you explained earlier, you're going to ask for it, but if they don't cover it, you can go. You can ask the
That's right.
Buyer for the.
That's correct.
And it's deliberately stated that.
It is, and that hasn't
Yeah,
changed.
that's why I was
It's the
asking,
same
let's
way.
not do that on the one right before this, and we bring this document that.
You're right, but yes, but it's all changed. Okay, so now let's go over. Remember what I was telling y'all earlier? If you're filling this out and get a little too quick, too tired, under the influence of something, and you accidentally check this box, it ain't gonna be a good day for you. And let me tell you why. Let's read it. Seller will pay whatever this is, what you're gonna put 3% in as a buyer, right? You're gonna put 3. Seller will pay 3%, let's just use that, of the sales price to be applied toward the broker compensation owned by the buyer to the buyer's broker. So if I'm the listing agent and you make me an offer, then I'm gonna, and I sign this, I'm agreeing to pay you 3% to PRG 3%. That's what that line's for. So every time you make an offer, you're gonna fill out this box number 1. Now, let's read number 2, and then I'm gonna tell you something. Buyer will pay whatever percent you put in there of the sales price to be applied towards the broker compensation owned by the seller's broker. So here's the deal. I had a guy in a class last week. He goes, "Oh, well, that's if the seller only agrees to pay me 2 on box 1, but I got 3 on my buyer's rep, I'll just put the other 1 right here and I'll get the other 1." No. If you check this box, you're paying the seller's realtor. And let me just, I asked Brian Watts, I said, "Why did y'all do that? Like, why did y'all do that? You're confusing people. And they're gonna accidentally check it." He goes, because this is his answer. He goes, "Ronnie, there's 12 people on the committee, and this is what we all agreed to. There's in 2021, we had a crazy market. People were overpaying for homes, and people were willing to pay sellers' agents just to get the house. So if we go back into that market, that's what that's for." So here's what I'm gonna tell you. Listen, I need y'all, if y'all heard me say anything today, because you just won't see e-credit, you coming up here, I need you to take box 2 and put it in your back pocket and don't even think it's there. Unless we get to a time where you need it. I'm not saying that won't ever happen. If we get into a crazy market again, that might be the case where your buyer goes, "Hey, I'm willing to pay 1% of their commission. I want this property." You see what I mean? But until that happens, I need you to act like this is not there. Don't be drinking wine and accidentally check this box or margarita or whatever it is y'all do. I'm being funny, but y'all see what I'm
I'm basically saying the buyer will pay full commission, right?
Well, whatever is in that line. Yeah. So do not check box 2 because we're not in a market for box 2, right? So only box 1. So does that answer your question? Because you remember, because you're right, it was on the old way or the last one. But does everybody understand box 1? Period. This is how you get paid. This is how you secure your commission. It is negotiable, but this is how you get paid. I want to show everybody clear. Just say yay.
Yeah.
All right. Because this is the most important thing. Because here's the thing. You guys don't work for free.
No.
You don't work for free. And let me just tell you, if you did get 0 money, you ain't covered on E&O commission, the Arizona mission, because E&O will not cover you if you work for free. I ain't ever seen, if there is one out there that will pay, I've never seen it. But I can tell you, I've had a dozen of them, and from the brokerage, and Arizona mission does not cover you if you work for free. So you don't work for free. Did you have a question, sir?
Yes, sir. I know we were covering number 2 there on B.
Yes, sir.
So my question is this, because you're saying in a competitive market like we had back in 2021,
Yes, sir.
that to make it, incentive buys the seller, if the seller's going to cover, if the buyer's going to cover the seller's agent's commission. So in this situation, let's just say when we wrote it up, we're like, okay, well, we're going to pay the seller's agent commission. It still doesn't change, like the bold says, it doesn't change the agreement. So when the seller's agent gets 6%.
Well, if you had that on your listing agreement.
No. What I mean is that in essence, to make it better, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you could sell it to the seller. You're saying, hey, the buyer's agent agreed to pay my commission, but it doesn't change the agreement that I have with you, right? So
Well,
when do you get entitled to the 6%? I'm asking because
where are you getting 6 though?
Well, what happens is that on 2, if you're covering the listing agent's commission, right?
Right.
And on B, the main paragraph, it says that any agreement here doesn't change the agreement that you have with your client.
Right.
So would the seller's agent still get his 3 because that's what he's got in the listing agreement?
You know what? That's actually a great question. So if I'm representing a buyer, let's use this as an example. I'm representing a buyer, and my buyer wants to pay some of the seller's agent. I still want to get paid.
Right.
So I'm going to put 3% in here as the buyer, number 1.
Right.
And then you could check both boxes, because then the buyer could say, hey, you're getting paid by the seller. That's separate, right? You're getting paid by the seller, but I actually want to pay 1% of the seller's broker to help them out. So you can put 3% here and 1% here as an example. You see what I mean? Does that kind of help? Now, granted, the separate agreements still apply because if your buyer's rep says 3, then you get 3 here, you're good with the buyer.
Right.
You're in. But on the seller, he's got a listing agreement for, let's just say 3, right? But if he agrees, he's got to pay his listing agent 3, but he's getting credit back for 1. Because the buyer's is saying, I'll pay 1 of that 3.
So he's gonna get 4%. The
Well, I was being a little.
Well, that's really how it works.
Yes, it's gonna get 3% from the seller and 1% from the buyer. So that's 4%,
Well,
no?
Well, I was thinking,
No,
it was
no,
different.
no, it's actually not true because you can't get paid more than what you have on
Oh,
the document.
he's just paying 1
Of
of
the
the
3.
3%.
Well,
That's what I understood.
I was looking at it like
Thank you.
reading glasses, right? Because I was thinking to incentivize you, right, when the market's strong.
Yeah,
Hey, you know what, I'm gonna pay the seller's agent commission, right, to add to the seller's net sheet. But then you as a listing agent still have the agreement with the seller, so you can get 3 from the seller and 3 from the
That's
buyer, is what I'm thinking. No?
See, but you can't do that, but you gotta do an amendment to the listing agreement to amend it to more money.
Okay.
Just like you gotta do an amendment to the buyer's rep to get more. But hey, just think about it like this. Let's just say you go into Lennar, and Lennar goes, I'm paying 3% plus a $5,000 BTSA, but you only had 3% on your buyer's rep. Do you gotta do an amendment to the buyer's rep to get the 5,000? Absolutely. So you gotta do an amendment to the listing agreement to get more money than the 3.
Well, I was wondering if you could double.
No,
I'm doing it double, right? That was my
you
question.
can change anything,
I mean-
but you gotta have it in
And
writing.
that's really what's hard. Recently, I think Rudy has said, filling out the listing agreement, you put like 8%.
You could.
So that way, in case of that situation, you don't have to do another amendment.
You could, but then the problem is, what if you don't get the 8? You could legally go to take them to court and
You
get the
could, but you could not.
So what seller is gonna wanna sign that? They're gonna be nervous.
Well, if you explain it that way.
But do you take your word for it, or what's it writing? That's true.
When you get those BTSAs from the builder, you have to amend the listing agreement for the buyer.
If something's changed, if you're getting more money than what you have in writing, absolutely. Yes. You don't have to do it if you get less, but you gotta do it if you get more.
They give you a bonus, then you just amend it.
That's correct. Yes.
So it's stay there.
Yes, I know. But this one is the
Your offer. They put the bonus in dollar amount and the
Who do you represent?
buyer.
The buyer?
Make an offer and I'm gonna get
No.
a bonus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well-
Yes, yeah.
Plus the BTSA? Well, then you wanna put that somewhere in the contract, maybe an addendum to the contract. Make sure, you gotta have it in your buyer's rep. You know that? And realistically, it's in your buyer's rep, but you're still gonna have it on the contract so that you get paid from the seller, right? So you're gonna put the 3% here, or, and you can.
Yes, right.
Or, so you're not gonna do a separate addendum. Separate addendum.
The seller is-
Okay, we got 20 minutes. All right, we're gonna keep moving. Does anybody got any questions? This is the most important thing. But does anybody got any questions? Is that helping you? Are you confused?
Yeah, I don't know. I was confused.
I didn't know.
Is that kind of helping?
Yeah.
Okay. Is everybody crystal clear? You sure?
So when I'm in a listing,
Is it more than here?
Yes.
Yeah, I know it is.
when I'm in a listing appointment.
Yeah, correct. I do.
then I can
Oh,
see.
you can't see. Yeah, you're right. No, say that. You're good.
When I'm in a listing appointment, the seller always asks, so how much money am I going to spend or lose, because they see it like that,
Right,
in paying brokers, right?
right.
So we always say, well, it's negotiable, but customary is the 3% for each broker. So they feel the money.
That's a great word, by the way. Don't say standard.
No, I
That's
say
customary.
Yeah, that's how I say it.
Yeah.
So, but it's always 6. The money always comes from them. They feel like it's from their pocket. They're not feeling that the buyer is paying anything.
At the end of
But
the
the buyer
day,
is not.
the seller is, even though it's on a 1 to 4 in a listing, the seller's still paying both.
Exactly,
You know,
exactly.
But because of the NAR lawsuit and a $42 million lawsuit, they want to make sure that they know we got to go by what
You know,
they say.
they have the option.
Yeah, and they have the option, because that was the whole part of the lawsuit, is the seller felt like he didn't have an option. Granted, it wasn't in Texas, it was in Missouri, but still, and we, we're a little different here, but it's just them having the option to make sure they feel like it's, they know that it's negotiable.
Yeah, so I'm listing 2 houses from a 27-year-old guy,
Yes,
very
yes,
young
ma'am.
guy, but he's upside down in the house.
Right, right.
So Elsa, what am I gonna do? Can I just offer less for the buyers, right?
Right.
But I'm afraid
Would
that if I offer less, then they are not going to bring a buyer.
Right.
So if I
Just
just
a chance.
I'm all right.
No, you're right. Okay, so we talked about